Today is Tuesday, August 2nd. We'll tell you about the death of one of America's most vocal enemies. The U.S. took out a key mastermind behind the 9/11 terror attacks. Also, today is one of the biggest days for primaries in this midterm election cycle. Which races are getting national attention? Plus, why a review of America's organ transplant system is suggesting major changes. Why an NFL quarterback is now suspended. And how many pieces of candy do you think a chief candy officer needs to eat in a day? We'll explain. We'll tell you those stories and more news to know next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. It's considered an important moment for the U.S. and a big counterterrorism win for Americans around the world. President Biden announced an American drone strike brought down al-Qaeda leader Ayman alZawahri. And this is significant since alZawahri helped Osama bin Laden plot the September 11th terror attacks, made sure al-Qaeda survived and spread in the years after, took over after bin Laden's death 11 years ago, and apparently never gave up targeting Americans. During an address from the White House, the president said this should serve as a warning to other terrorists that, quote, no matter how long it takes, no matter where you hide, if you're a threat to our people, the United States will find you and take you out. American intelligence agencies tracked down alZawahri in Kabul, Afghanistan. Then after getting authorization from the president, the CIA fired missiles at a safe house and killed alZawahri. Everyone else survived the mission. This was America's first counterterrorism operation in Afghanistan since U.S. forces left last year. So some say this is proof the U.S. can still protect American interests in the Middle East without its troops being on the ground. But critics say it's worrisome that alZawahri was found in Afghanistan, since when the Taliban took over, the group promised to never again let the country become a safe haven for al-Qaeda. So they believe that promise has been broken. So what happens now? Well, some counterterrorism experts say alZawahri's death likely won't have much of an impact on al-Qaeda's day-to-day operations, since there are many other leaders who could be ready to take over. But one senior administration official said this will be a hugely significant blow to the terror organization. For the first time since Russia invaded Ukraine, a grain shipment took off into the Black Sea. This was made possible thanks to an international deal meant to ease global food shortages and prices. Russia has been blocking Ukraine's ports for months, leaving roughly 20 million tons of grain stuck. It'll take months to clear that backlog. Still, this is considered an important first step. This first ship is carrying 26,000 tons of Ukrainian corn. It's traveling through a route both Ukraine and Russia have promised to keep safe. Today, the ship is scheduled to stop in Turkish waters for inspection, then continue on its route to Lebanon. Officials say 16 more ships are waiting to leave Ukraine in the coming days. Already, the prices of wheat and corn have started to fall. Today is one of the biggest days for primaries in this midterm election cycle. Voters in 5 states are going to the polls today: Arizona, Michigan, Missouri, Kansas, and Washington. And in a few places, these votes are seen as another test of former President Trump's influence. For example, Trump has zeroed in on the 10 House Republicans who voted to impeach him last year. And 3 of them are on the ballots today in Washington state and Michigan, going up against Trump-backed candidates. Also in Arizona, Trump has endorsed many candidates who have all been questioning the legitimacy of the 2020 election. Over in Michigan, there's a crowded field of Republicans hoping to take on Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer in the fall. Again, all of them say there was fraud in the 2020 election. Then there's Missouri, where former Governor Eric Greitens is trying to get a political comeback. He resigned 4 years ago as he was facing accusations of blackmail, campaign finance violations, and marital abuse. Now Greitens is hoping to run for Senate along with 20 other Republicans. We also want to mention one more thing we're watching in Kansas. People there will be the first in the country to vote on an abortion-related ballot measure. Voters will be asked whether they'd like to overturn a decision that protects abortion under the state constitution. If it is overturned, that would give state lawmakers more control over access to the procedure. So, to be continued. The system that matches donated organs to the patients who need them needs a major overhaul. That's at least according to a confidential government review obtained by the Washington Post. The Post says the White House's U.S. Digital Service found the transplant system uses outdated software. It found the system relies too much on humans manually putting in data. it's vulnerable to cyber attacks, and that it has had other failures and mistakes. Now keep in mind, we are talking about a system that thousands of people depend on for a chance to live. This draft report was apparently done a year and a half ago and recommends the government break up the power that just one nonprofit has had for decades. That agency is called the United Network for Organ Sharing. But the head of the nonprofit pushed back against this report, saying it reads more like an opinion piece than something based on research. He told the Washington Post the transplant system is secure and effective, and that the organization is already improving tracking and other technology. The government contract for running the organ transplant system in the U.S. could be up for bid as soon as next year. Still ahead, why the largest book publisher in the U.S. is up against the federal government, Amazon's newest delivery option, what the job of chief candy officer entails, and more. But first, let's take a quick break for our sponsor, Indeed. We here at The Newsworthy like to be your go-to place for news, where you can get a wide variety of stories all in one place and quickly. Well, Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place and quickly. Yep, when you need to hire great people fast, you need Indeed. They have time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. And in business, the people you find and hire make all the difference. It's clear Indeed is doing something right as a hiring partner because Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined, according to data from Talent Nest in 2019. In fact, in the minute I'm talking about this with you, Indeed data worldwide shows 16 hires will be made on Indeed. And Indeed is doing something no other job site has done. Now with Indeed, businesses only pay for quality applications matching the sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/newsworthy to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/newsworthy. Indeed.com/newsworthy. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. The largest book publisher in the country is going up against the federal government in court this week. The Justice Department is trying to stop Penguin Random House from buying rival Simon & Schuster for nearly $2.2 billion. The government says the deal would hurt readers and authors since fewer books would be published. And since there wouldn't be as much competition between publishers, authors would make less money. But the companies say the opposite is true, that the companies will be able to combine their resources to give authors better deals, and that other publishers will only have to try harder to get titles, meaning more competition. Today, the federal government is getting some big-name support for its case. Famous horror writer Stephen King is planning to testify against the merger, along with publishing executives and authors' agents. On the other side, the court will hear from executives from both Simon & Schuster and Penguin Random House. Overall, the trial is expected to last up to 3 weeks. Stay tuned. The NFL has now decided how to punish a quarterback who's been accused of harassing and assaulting more than 24 women. Cleveland Browns player Deshaun Watson will have to sit the first 6 games of the season out, and he won't be paid for them. That decision was made by a former federal judge that both the NFL and Players Union hired to oversee this case. She looked into the allegations that Watson behaved in a lewd way toward women he hired for massages while he played for the Houston Texans in 2020 and 2021. The retired judge called his behavior predatory and egregious, but said a 6-game suspension was enough since she says he never got violent. She also said Watson will only be allowed to use club-approved massage therapists for the rest of his career. Already, 2 grand juries in Texas decided not to charge Watson with a crime. But 25 women did file civil lawsuits against him. Watson still says he did nothing wrong, that any sexual activity was consensual, and he has no regrets. Just this year, Watson signed a 5-year contract with the Browns for $230 million. So he's expected to lose nearly $350,000 in pay from the 6 games he'll miss. The NFL could still appeal, but already the NFL Players Association and the Cleveland Browns say they respect the decision. Well, Amazon now has a new shopping option. Get goods from the mall delivered to your doorstep. Here's how it works. Prime members can order in-store items from a list on Amazon, and a delivery driver will pick up the order from the store and deliver it as soon as that same day. The service is free for Prime members who spend at least $25 and $2.99 if they spend less. The new service is only offered in about 10 U.S. metro areas for now, in and around cities like Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Las Vegas, Miami, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. And to start, there are only a few stores customers can buy from: PacSun, GNC, Superdry, and Diesel. Already, other retailers like Sephora have partnered with platforms like Uber to get their products to people's doorsteps within hours. So it seems the competition for fast home delivery is only getting more fierce. If you have a sweet tooth, now could be the time to cash in. A Canadian candy company is looking for the world's first chief candy officer who will serve as the head taste tester, trying more than 3,500 products every month. The person who gets the job will also run board meetings and have a say in which products the company will carry. But you don't actually need experience. In fact, applicants can be as young as 5 years old and can live anywhere in North America since it's a remote position. And get this, the job pays 100,000 Canadian dollars a year, which works out to more than 78,000 US dollars. You just have to be up for eating about 100 pieces of candy a day. Good news is the position comes with an extensive dental plan. Applicants have until the end of this month to apply. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Trivia Tuesday, when we ask a different trivia question every week. But first, this podcast is sponsored by Thrive Causemetics. I used to wear so much makeup when I worked for TV news every day, and it always felt so caked on. Well, now I'm happy to report that I get to choose to only wear the makeup I want when I want, and I choose a lot of Thrive Causemetics products. They have high-performance beauty and skincare products made with clean ingredients. Right now, I am a huge fan of the Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. Not only does it lengthen my lashes, but it also supports healthier-looking lashes over time, and it's really easy to remove. I also love the Liquid Balm Lip Treatment. It's a leave-on serum that looks really glossy while also still moisturizing. Plus, Cause is in the name for a reason. With their bigger-than-beauty mission, every purchase supports organizations that help communities thrive. So now is a great time to try Thrive Causemetics for yourself. Right now, you can get 15% off your first order when you visit thrivecausemetics.com/newsworthy. That's Thrive Causemetics, CAUSEMETICS, thrivecausemetics.com/newsworthy for 15% off your first order. Okay, now back to Trivia Tuesday. Today's trivia question is, what location is recognized as having the hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth? And the answer will be according to the World Meteorological Organization. You can answer the question and play along with us on Instagram. You can find this trivia question and a news quiz for today in our stories. Simply search Newsworthy Pod on Instagram to find and follow us. As for last week's trivia question, who was the world's first cloned animal named after in 1996? The answer is Dolly Parton. And just like Dolly Parton is an icon of country music, Dolly the sheep is an icon of scientific development. She was the first mammal to be successfully cloned from a single adult cell back in 1996. That opened up a lot of possibilities in biology and medicine. And it also sparked a debate about all the potential benefits and dangers of cloning. Scientists say Dolly was a normal animal, and all of her organs functioned well for most of her life. But she eventually developed lung cancer and had to be put to sleep. Now, Dolly's body is in the National Museum of Scotland, where she has become one of the museum's most popular exhibits. All right, thank you so much for listening today. If you're new here, be sure to hit the subscribe or follow button in your podcast app so you can find new episodes easily. If you've been listening for a long time, well, thank you so much for being here again. We appreciate you listening daily. We'll be back with another news roundup tomorrow by 4 a.m. For now, have a great day.